వాళ్ళకి వినబడుతుందా? Right. Before we start with our subject, let me introduce myself. So my name is Ranga Reddy. I'm a qualified chartered accountant. I hope you are getting my voice. Right. I've been in this profession for the last 17 years, teaching costing, financial management, both at inter level and final level. This is only possible because of the students. Because of a lot of cooperation from students only, I'm able to do this for a long period of time. At the same time, I'm also into practice. Right. So this is my introduction. And in my subject, what is the highest marks scored by students is in costing, CA Inter, 98 is the highest marks. CMA Inter, 96. This is the highest marks what our students got for the last 17 years. And in financial management, CA Inter, 92, CMA Inter, 87. So this is the score what they have got. And if you see the results or analyze the results, what is that subject which is very important for clearing your entire CMA Inter and CA Inter is costing. I hope you are aware of your papers in your CMA Inter. How many papers are there? 8 papers are there. In that you have 2 costing papers. One is cost accounting, which is there in group 1. Other one is management accounting, which is there in group 2. Both carries 100 marks. Group 1 100 marks, group 2 also 100 marks. So imagine how important this subject is to clear CMA Inter in first attempt or CA Inter in first attempt. Right? So before we start off with our subject cost accounting, right? Just I would like to know how many of you are doing exclusively CA here. How many of you are doing exclusively CA here? Exclusively CA. The rest of you are CMA Inter. Very good. So let's start with our subject cost accounting without wasting any further time. Right? How many marks group 1? Group 1, your subject name is cost accounting. This is for CMA Inter students. 100 marks. And for CA Inter students, the name is cost and management accounting. Cost and management accounting. This is CA Inter. They have it in group 2. 100 marks paper. This is also. I think you are aware of the paper pattern also. Currently, for CMA Inter, CMA Inter, the paper pattern has been, and I hope that the same they will continue. You have 30 marks objective questions, you have MCQs, 15 questions, and each one will carry 2 marks. Without any reasoning, you have to just select the answer. So that carries 30 marks. Rest of the 70 marks is descriptive questions. In this, you have 7 questions. 2 questions you have a choice. You have to write only 5 questions. 5 questions into 14 marks. 70 marks. So 70 plus 30 is 100 marks. Out of 7 questions, 2 questions will be given as choice to you. So 5 questions you need to attempt. Coming to CA Inter. CA Inter also you have MCQ 30 marks. Descriptive again 70 marks. But there is a slight difference in the way they ask these MCQs. What they do is here case scenario based MCQs you will find. Case scenario based MCQs. Roughly they will be around 10 MCQs. So that means you are going to get 2 case scenarios. 2 case scenarios will carry 10 questions, means 10 into 2, 20 marks. Each carries 2 marks. And the remaining is direct MCQs. So this is the challenge in CA Inter. In CMA Inter, directly they will ask you MCQs. You need to pick one. But here in CA Inter, they will give you in a case study format. You have to study that and then answer the questions. Now, these case studies are not something different from the chapters, respective chapters only. The same practical questions will be put in case study format. Then you need to properly study the case study and then answer the questions given below that. So, what is most challenging in CA Inter is your time management is most important in CA Inter. What students every time the complaint what they have is they are unable to complete 100 marks in 3 hours time. The reason is this case scenarios only. Right. So if you are thorough with all the practical concepts, I don't think you will face any difficulty. CA Inter students, you have only one question as choice. That is one more difference between CMA Inter and CA Inter. So you have 6 questions. Okay, 5 questions you need to attempt. So only one question CA Inter students have the choice in CA Inter question paper. So this is your paper pattern. Now, one more thing is CA Inter both whatever CMS students have in group 1 and group 2 is combinedly given in their syllabus. Of course, some extra topics are also there in management accounting, which is there in group 2, but more or less almost 90% of the syllabus is covered in this one. Right. So this is your paper pattern. I hope you are writing in your notebook also what is the paper pattern. Make a note of this paper pattern quickly, and what is the name of the subject also. If you are CA Inter student, just write your paper pattern. If you are CMA Inter, just write your paper pattern. Whatever is applicable to you. CMA Inter, how many marks you have MCQs? 30 marks. 15 MCQs, each carrying 2 marks. 70 descriptive, how many questions you will be given? 7 questions, out of that 5 questions only you need to write. Coming to CA Inter, have you seen this? MCQs 30 marks, out of that case scenario based MCQs. Case based MCQs, how many MCQs will be there? 10 MCQs, and remaining is direct. 5 will be direct MCQs, 10 will be case study based MCQs. Done everyone? Yes. Now before giving you syllabus, first I need to give you the basics of costing. The moment you know what is the basics of costing, you can easily understand the syllabus pattern. Okay, you need not remember the chapters also. By flow only you can understand what are your chapters. Right, let us start then. First we'll name it as basics of costing. Chapter number 1, let us name this as basics of costing. Since it is totally a new subject to you, you need to understand the basic things about costing, which is part and parcel of your syllabus only. Chapter number 1 in your syllabus is basics, which will help you to understand the complete basics of cost accounting. Let's start now. First thing is, first question what I would like to ask you is, many of you know what is cost. Definitely if I ask you know what is cost, I think most of you will be able to give the answer. Very simple sir, cost is nothing but the expenditure what we incur to produce any goods or to give any service. This is the answer definitely anyone can give. So costing is required for both goods as well as services. First I will write what is cost. What is cost? Expenditure to be incurred. Expenditure to be incurred on producing goods or rendering services. So one should understand that costing is not just for physical goods, it is also for services. Here we are giving you service, we are delivering service here. So how much does it cost to give this service to you? That also we need to estimate. Now you tell me everyone, why costing is required? What is costing? Let us understand that also, then I'll ask you that question. First meaning is what is cost? I hope everyone understood what is cost here. We talked about expenditure. One more word what we used here is expenditure. What form of expenditure we incur for producing any goods? I will take one example here. Try to give the expenditure that goes into making of that product. Just take the example of your furniture only, a table. Let us take this table example only. Table is a product, physical product or not? Yes, physical. Now to make this table, what expenditure will go into making of this table? Can you guess? To make this table, what that goes into making of this? What kind of expenditure you will incur to make? I hope everyone have knowledge about what this. I did not take typical electronic goods, but this I hope everyone will have knowledge. How table is made? What is the expenditure that goes into making of a table? I hope everyone can tell with your knowledge. within whatever knowledge you have, you can tell me. Yes, everyone. First, wood. In wood also you have different types of wood, teak wood, plywood. Are you aware of this? Yes. Wood. This wood only is called as material. Only wood is required to make table. What else is required? Screws, nails. What else is required? Even lamination is required. Painting is required. Sandpaper is also required to clean the roughness of the wood. You require adhesive, glue. Glue is also used in making of table. Now, whatever examples I quoted here, we call that as material. In costing, what is the term we use for referring these expenses? Just now, whatever we have put out here, we call them as materials. Right? All these are called as materials. Then next, you have to convert this material into a form or not, a physical form. Who has to do it? Yes, we call him as carpenter. We call him as carpenter. Next, carpenter wages, even painter wages, isn't it? Next, other things. You also require power for the machines what they use to cut the woods, isn't it? Power of machines. See here, these are the general expenses that goes into making of a table. Yes. Now, the second one, carpenter wages, we call it as labor cost. This is what? Labor cost. Apart from power, all this activity, where do you do it? You cannot do it at your home. You need to have a dedicated place where you have to carry out this activity or not. For that, we need to hire that place, isn't it? For that, what we need to pay? Rent we need to pay, isn't it? So, rent. Now, this we are calling it as material. The second expenditure we are calling it as labor cost. And what about the remaining expenses? Exactly, we call them as expenses. No doubt, even first two are also expenses, but we are giving a specific name in costing. The first one, the physical commodities used in making of goods, we call them as materials. And the person who converts this material into finished goods, for putting this physical effort as well as mental effort, the compensation whatever we pay, we call it as labor cost or wages. Apart from these two, in order to carry out your activity of manufacturing, you require a dedicated place. For that, you require utilities, you require power, you require water, isn't it? You require a place. For all this, whatever amount we incur, expenditure we incur, we can call it as expenses. So in costing, cost includes what? Simple, only three things, nothing beyond it. Tell me. Cost is equal to, tell me, material cost, material cost plus labor cost plus expenses. The beauty of costing is our game boundaries are fixed. In costing means from beginning to ending, it is all about these three only. We do not go beyond this. Cost ante only these three elements. Now, later on, what we do is we study this in a deeper manner. The same elements we try to understand in a much deeper manner. For what reason, we will understand later on. I hope everyone understood here. What is cost here? Cost is the expenditure incurred for producing goods or rendering of services. What does expenditure includes? Material, labor and expenses. These are the three elements of your cost. You take any product, your cost elements are only three. మీరు ఏ ప్రోడక్ట్ తయారు చేసినా సరే ఆల్వేస్ యువర్ కాస్ట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి క్లాసిఫైడ్ అండర్ త్రీ కేటగిరీస్. వాట్ ఆర్ దోస్? మెటీరియల్, లేబర్, ఎక్స్పెన్సెస్. You take making of this bottle, okay, even in this also you have material. What are the materials that goes into making of this? Tell me. Plastic bottle is used. Even water is also material here for them. Of course, that is a product here, but to sell this product, what do you require? Water, no? Yes. And packing is also required with the cap. Labeling is also required. This is also expenditure or not? Yes. And who will do all this? Missions will do it. Okay, but who will run the machineries? Mission operators. So you see, any product always we can trace out three things in any product. We can trace out material, labor and remaining all we should classify under what? Expenses. Now what is the other definition of cost is? We have seen what is the simple definition of cost. Now we will see other definition. I hope you have written in your notebook. Do one thing, after writing other one, you can make a note of this. What is the other definition of cost is? It is monetary value of sacrifices made. Monetary value of sacrifices made in manufacturing of goods or rendering of services. Here, what is the other thing that is defining cost is, we can also call it as the sum of the monetary value of all the sacrifices. What sacrifices we are making in making of goods or services? The expenses, whatever we are incurring, those are sacrifices only. Materials, payment you need to make, that is a sacrifice. Labor also we need to make payment, that is also a sacrifice. Even to have facilities also we are making sacrifice or not. So if you add all those sacrifices, you will get what? Total cost. Here the sacrifices refers to what? Sacrifices are nothing but material, labor, expenses. Next interesting question is, sir, we are studying accounting. Foundation level we are studying accounts. Even in accounts also we do record expenditure. Then why do you require a separate subject called as costing? The main question is, what everyone should have in their mind is, in spite of having accounting, why we have again cost accounting? What is the reason for having separate cost accounting? Okay, that also we will understand. Why cost accounting is required? The reason is, if you remember, when we prepare profit and loss account, we take all revenue on credit side. Revenue means what? sales, and expenses we take on debit side. I hope you are aware of this. Now, in that P&L account, have you done this expenditure classification product wise? చేశారా మీరు ఏమైనా ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ ఎంత చేశారా? లేదు. నో వై? ఎందుకంటే మనం రాసేటప్పుడు ఎంట్రీస్ కూడా వి నెవర్ రోట్ ఎంట్రీస్ అకార్డింగ్ టు ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్. ఓవరాల్ హౌ మచ్ ఈస్ పర్చేజెస్, ఓవరాల్ హౌ మచ్ ఈస్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ అలా రాసాం, కానీ మనం ఇప్పుడు కూడా ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్ వి హావ్ నెవర్ రిటర్న్ ఎంట్రీస్. Then how it is possible? I mean, what I'm trying to say is, how much material you have consumed, have you written an entry for that? No. How much is the labor cost for every product? Have you written an entry for that? No. So in financial accounting, our main objective is to know what is the overall profit or loss you made in a particular accounting period. So there are details like how much is the material consumed for a product, labor for a product. You never maintained ledgers like that. You only recorded how much is the overall purchases, how much is the wages, but you never wrote entries for material consumption, labor costs incurred. ఎప్పుడైనా రాసారా మీరు అకౌంటింగ్ లో? పర్చేజెస్ కి you might have written entry, payment of wages కి you might have written entry, expenses incurred you might have written entry, but never you might have written entry for which one? Material consumed, what is the entry? Material issued, what is the entry? Labor allocated, what is the entry? You might have not written. Then how come it is possible for us to find out what is the cost for every product? మన రికార్డ్సే మెయింటైన్ చేయనప్పుడు మనకి ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది కాస్ట్ అసలు ఎంత ఇన్కర్ చేసామని చెప్పి? ఆర్ యూ థింకింగ్? సో దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ దేర్ ఈస్ అ సపరేట్ ఫీల్డ్ విచ్ ఈస్ ఆరిజినేటింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ అకౌంటింగ్ నుంచి. అందులో నుంచి వచ్చింది ఇంకొకటి ఏంటిది? కాస్ట్ అకౌంటింగ్. అండర్స్టూడ్ ఎవ్రీ వన్? సో మీకు ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్ ప్రాఫిటబిలిటీ కావాలన్నా, సర్వీస్ వైజ్ ప్రాఫిటబిలిటీ కావాలన్నా కూడా కంపల్సరీ మనం ఏం మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి? వాట్ వీ షుడ్ మెయింటైన్? ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్ ఓన్లీ యూ షుడ్ మెయింటైన్ వాట్? రికార్డ్స్. సర్వీస్ వైజ్ ఓన్లీ వీ షుడ్ మెయింటైన్ records, which is not required in financial accounting. That is the reason there is a special field called as cost accounting. You know why this cost accounting started and what is the backdrop of this costing is, in World War II, we have to go back to World War II, which happened in 1940s. అక్కడ మొదలైంది దీని ఆరిజిన్. ఎందుకో తెలుసా? దేర్ all countries were spending heavily on defense equipments. So వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళు ఎంత చెప్తున్నారు సప్లైస్ అంతే ప్రైస్కి దే ఆర్ బయింగ్, బట్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ అవేర్ ఆఫ్ ఈజ్ ఇట్ రియల్లీ వర్త్ ఇట్, ఆర్ దే రియల్లీ ఇన్కరింగ్ దిస్ మచ్ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్? దే ఆర్ నాట్ అవేర్ ఆఫ్ దిస్. సో ఫైనలీ వాట్ దే హావ్ డిసైడెడ్ ఇస్ దే షుడ్ నో హౌ మచ్ ఈస్ ది కాస్ట్ దట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ టు మేకింగ్ ఆఫ్ దేర్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్. అప్పుడు వాళ్ళు దే స్టార్టెడ్ దిస్ కాస్ట్ అకౌంటింగ్. That is the starting point of cost accounting. So here separate reason for having a separate cost accounting subject is to know why, I mean how much you are incurring towards a product, how much you are incurring towards a service. Then only we can know which product is doing well, which product is not doing well, which product we should continue, విచ్ ప్రోడక్ట్ వి షుడ్ డిస్కంటిన్యూ. ఇలాంటి డిసిషన్ తీసుకోవాలి అనుకుంటే కంపల్సరీ మనకి ప్రోడక్ట్ వైజ్, సర్వీస్ వైజ్ రిక్వైర్ ప్రాఫిటబిలిటీ. అదర్వైజ్ హౌ ఐ కెన్ టేక్ డిసిషన్స్? ఓవరాల్ ప్రాఫిట్ డజంట్ గివ్ మీ ఆల్ దిస్ డేటా. నో. మరి డేటా కావాలంటే ఖచ్చితంగా మనకి ఏముండాలి? ఖచ్చితంగా మనం కాస్ట్ అకౌంటింగ్ రికార్డ్స్ మెయింటైన్ చేసుకోవాలి. దెన్ ఓన్లీ డేటా ఐ కెన్ పూల్ అండ్ దట్ విల్ హెల్ప్ మీ టు టేక్ దీస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ డిసిషన్స్. అందరికీ అర్థమైందా వై a separate subject called as cost accounting is required? దీని అవసరం ఏంటో తెలిసిందా అందరికీ? ఎస్. సో విత్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ అకౌంటింగ్ క్యాన్ వీ డూ ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్ కాస్టింగ్? ఫైనాన్షియల్ లెడ్జెస్ తోటి క్యాన్ వీ డూ ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్ కాస్టింగ్? జస్ట్ టెల్ మీ, పాసిబులా? ఇప్పుడే కదా చెప్పింది నేను. పాసిబుల్ టు ఫైండ్ అవుట్ వాట్ ఈస్ అ ప్రొడక్ట్ వైజ్ కాస్ట్? నాట్ పాసిబుల్. దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ యూ హ్యావ్ కాస్ట్ accounting. So that is the purpose of cost accounting. Now That is a very interesting fact. Majority of the students don't know why cost accounting is introduced. That is the reason I told you. Right. Let us go to next word here. What is that? Is costing. Second one is first one. What we have seen is cost. Now second one is costing. What is the meaning of costing? Now, if I am using a process to calculate how much is the cost I am incurring towards a particular product or service, that entire process only we can call it as what? Costing. And this costing methodology will change from industry to industry. It will not remain same. So, what is costing? It is the process used or technique used for estimating cost. It is a process used or technique used for estimating cost. This process vary according to product or service. I think you are getting blurred vision over there. Yeah. First one, everyone wrote what is cost. I'll try to dictate here. What is costing? It is the process used or technique used for estimating. It is a process used or technique used for estimating cost. And this process will change according to products. For example, for service industries like educational institutions, what is the method of costing they apply is operating costing. Service based industries which method of costing they use? Operating costing లేదా సర్వీస్ కాస్టింగ్ అని కూడా అనొచ్చు మనం. లేదా now oil refinery companies, oil refineries, paper, textile industry, oil refineries, paper, textile industries, what is the method of costing they use is process costing. Process costing. So you can clearly see that there is a difference in the way we estimate the cost. అది ప్రోడక్ట్ ని బట్టి మారిపోతుంది. గమనించండి ఇక్కడ. అబ్జర్వ్ దిస్. Next one is paper printing. Paper printing. Job costing. Job costing. See, we all understood that how what is the process we use to calculate cost is called as costing. Very simple. But how we estimate cost keeps on changing according to nature of product. And again, if I calculate cost, cost includes only three elements. No, what are those? Material, labor, and expenses only. Right. So how we are giving a different name is only by the nature of product only. When we go to, these are chapters, these are our chapters. Going forward, we will study methods of costing. There we will know clearly why those names are given, right? So two things you understood today, what is cost and what is costing. One more very important point before I close off is, like accounts, how you had generally accepted principles, policies, accounting standards, so that there is a uniformity. ఎవరు చేసినా కూడా అదే ప్రాఫిట్ అదే లాస్ రావాలి. Then only comparison will be very, very easy. Similarly, even in costing also, we have cost accounting principles and cost accounting standards, which will be issued by your CMA Institute. So we have to calculate cost strictly following the cost accounting standards and cost accounting principles. So whatever I explain here concepts are strictly based on cost accounting standards. Pratidi kuda man. This is another point. ఇక్కడ బ్రాకెట్లో పెట్టండి. It is calculated based on CAS అంటే cost accounting standards. Then generally accepted cost accounting principles, GACP. It is calculated based on CAS and generally accepted cost accounting principles. So if you want to calculate total cost of a product, under how many heads you will classify those? ఆ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ మొత్తాన్ని మీరు ఎన్ని హెడ్స్ కింద క్లాసిఫై చేస్తారు చెప్పండి. 3. What are those? Material, labor, expenses. If you add these 3, then you will get what? Total cost. And when you are estimating the cost, the process of estimating cost for a product or service only we call it as costing. Does it remain same for every product? No, it will change. We call them as methods of costing. Okay. So we are stopping for the day. Our bus is running late today. Okay, tomorrow we'll have a complete session. Close this.